Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Dre Lasso here with some more crypto news and crypto wisdom for your head top. So, boy, do we have some stuff to talk about today. Man, catalyst for the crypto bull run. And I subscribe to the fact that I don't think the bull run is done. Many people do think the bull run is done. I don't think it's done. But here's some catalysts that prove that the Bitcoin bull run, the crypto bull run, that altcoin season is definitely coming and it's in full effect, right? So what's good, y'all? Welcome to Crypto Rants. It's your boy Dre Lasso here again, where we cut through the noise, break through, what's really going down in crypto and what's really happening, getting through all the FUD, even the FOMO, and just figuring out what is really going on, right? So today we're talking about some major catalysts, right? That could send crypto into a new stratosphere, into new highs, despite all the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, despite all the hacks and, people losing their bread, and the fact that cryptocurrency was found to be used for the cartels to distribute fentanyl from the Chinese to Mexico. Despite all of that, we're going to talk about some good news, not really harp on the bad news, right? So the latest from FOMC's meeting, right, and its impact on cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about the SEC dropping the Ripple lawsuit and what this means for XRP and what this means for crypto in general. The first ever Crypto Regulation Roundtable, right? This is huge for the industry. And we're going to talk about more crypto ETFs that are incoming, right? Solana and beyond, right? And then Trump's Digital Asset Summit and his pro-crypto stance. So if you're serious about making money in this space, if you're serious about learning in this space, if you're serious about the revolution, the technological revolution, if you're serious about blockchain technology, Web3, AI, you got the right place. Don't miss this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, share, hit that like button, and do what you do. You feel me? But make sure you do your own research, right? Because this is not financial advice. I'm not your fiduciary. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a young black brother on the internet talking about cryptocurrency, my opinions, my viewpoints, and talking about the facts, right? So the FOMC meeting and market sentiment, right? So let's start with the biggest macro crypto catalyst, right? The recent FOMC meeting. Everyone was expecting strict monetary policies, but guess what? Powell actually lowered growth projections, hinting at a better market condition ahead. Pretty much saying that the economy is strong and we're just going to hold tight, right? We're not going to make any movements. And this is good because we don't have a FOMC meeting next month. The next meeting is in May. And hopefully by May, we'll start slashing some rates. That's what Trump wants. But Powell isn't going to do exactly what Trump wants right away, right? He's going to do what he wants, but still in favor of the United States, the businesses, the individuals, and all that, right? So here's the wild part. Trump jumped in on Truth Social and basically called for the end of quantitative tightening, the end of QT. He straight up said the Fed would be much better off cutting rates. So April 2nd is Liberation Day in America. So April 2nd, we're expecting that there will be some sort of rate cuts, right? Now, Arthur Hayes believes we'll see the end of QT on April 1st. Now, that could be the turning point for Bitcoin, but we also have analysts like Benjamin Cohen reminding us that QT isn't completely over yet, right? So don't expect an instant pump, right? Either way, markets love liquidity, so that's what it's all about. We need liquidity for these markets to really pump. And if QT slows down, we could see serious bullish momentum because that means the money printer will get turned on, more liquidity will go into the space, and this is all lining up with the M2 money supply globally, right? So the more liquidity, the more money could flush around, flosh around, and all that goodness. And, it'll be a beautiful sight for our bags. The new cryptocurrencies that's going to be releasing during this time, the old ones, the dinosaur coins, like they say, like the XRPs, the XLMs, and all that. So it's a good segue. So let's talk about XRP and break down what happened with SEC. So the SEC drops the Ripple lawsuit, right? If you know, this lawsuit has been going on since 2020. XRP was ripped off of a lot of exchanges, and there was only like a few exchanges where you could buy your XRP, and it made it hard for people to get XRP, but it also made XRP one of those darlings for the cryptocurrency. It made it a representative for the crypto space and for the overall betterment of the crypto space. So, they took it head on as the leaders, along with Coinbase and along with Kraken and a lot of other people. But Ripple was like the pioneer as far as the lawsuits are concerned with the SEC, right? So XRP holders have been waiting for years for this moment, right? The SEC finally officially dropped its lawsuit against Ripple. Now, Ripple is the parent company to XRP. But here's the twist. XRP only pumped 11% on this news. Where is the XRP army? Like, where y'all at? Normally, the XRP army would be going crazy. They go crazy on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on every social media platform. These, people are going insane. But for some reason, once that news hit, it only went up 11%. Why? Well, back in July 2023, when the first ruling favored Ripple, XRP rallied 73%. So even though it wasn't them dropping the case, it just ruled in favor of Ripple, and that was just enough news for the Ripple, for XRP to pump, right? This time, the price didn't move as much because the market is more cautious, right? There's a lot going on. We got tariffs. We got, capitulation of certain cryptocurrencies, capitulation of people's, leverage options and all that craziness, right? It's just, and speaking of options, Friday is the day for huge option expiration as well. So there might be some more turmoil in the market, but make no mistake, this is still a major win for crypto. This is a major win for Ripple, XRP, and all the ISO 222 compliant coins, which would be like your XLMs, your HBARs, your Quants, XDCs, so on and so forth, right? So more institutions are now free to adopt Ripple's solutions. 18 XRP ETF filings have been placed and are already in the pipeline. So that's a big deal. And we're going to talk about more ETFs to come later on. XRP could be added to the US crypto reserve as well, alongside Bitcoin and Solana. So long term, XRP could see massive institutional liquidity. Some analysts even predict that we could see a $20 XRP in the next bull cycle, not necessarily this bull cycle. So slow your roll, XRP army. I love you guys, and I love XRP. I've been in XRP since 2018, maybe even 2017. Sold some, kept some, bought some more. So I'm riding with y'all, but I don't believe it's going to go to $200 like y'all believe. Maybe $10 this cycle and hopefully $20 next cycle. But either way, it's still a good pump. It's still going to look good for your bags regardless, right? So moving on to the next topic. The first ever Crypto Regulation Roundtable with the SEC. This is a big deal. So for the first time ever, the SEC is holding a crypto roundtable to discuss clear regulations, right? This is a huge shift from the anti-crypto stance we've seen in the past in Operation Choke Point and whatnot. And what was dope about this is that the first pro-crypto president also spoke at this first ever SEC Crypto Regulation Roundtable. So pro-crypto leaders like Paul Atkins is due to take over the SEC. We could see a wave of ETF approvals and clearer regulations that could actually benefit the space, right? Paul Atkins has been in the SEC seat before, so he's not new to the game, but he is pro-crypto, right? So this is a big deal. Meanwhile, the U.S. has confirmed that Bitcoin and proof-of-work mining are not securities, which removes a ton of regulatory uncertainty. The markets hate uncertainty. Whether it's the crypto market, whether it's the stock market, the markets hate uncertainty. We need to know, we need to have a vision for the future to determine where we're going to go, to determine if we're in a bull market, bear market, or the bull bear or the bear bull that we're in right now, right? So more ETFs are coming. This is a big deal. So you saw what happened when Bitcoin's ETF launched. It was the best ETF in history, literally the best. So massive institutional inflows. Now more ETFs are on the way. So we don't just have Ethereum, but we got a lot more. So Solana's ETF is already filing with volatility shares leading the charge, right? Then we just had the first ever Solana futures ETF get launched on the US stock exchange. So that's a big deal as well. So it's not spot, but what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum was that we had futures prior to us having spot ETF. So this is a big deal, and it's a telltale sign. And, it's a canary in the minefield that more ETFs are to come, and specifically Solana. Now, another really cool ETF that's set to come is the Pengu ETF. So Pengu is a NFT, right? And this is a very popular NFT because they have plush toys. They're in Walmart, and they're really making a name for themselves, right? So yes, the meme coin. It could be the very first NFT plus token ETF. This is a big deal. Analysts predict that there's a 75% chance that we might have a Doge ETF, a HBAR ETF, as well as Solana ETFs getting approved, and keyword ETFs. So multiple ETFs, not just one. So every ETF approval means more liquidity, more adoption, and higher prices. And that's what we need: more liquidity, more adoption, right? So Trump's Digital Asset Summit and the big picture, right? So at the Digital Asset Summit, Trump made it clear that he wants the US to lead crypto. We have to be the leaders, right? We've been leading in a lot of things, and we're actually losing in a lot of things when it comes to technology. So if we could grab this by the balls, as he said, then, this would be a good deal. So he pushed for stablecoin regulations, right? He wants the Congress to push for that and maintain the US dollar dominance. The dollar is weakening. I say this all the time. Back in the day when I was a kid, I could go into the deli with $1, get a pack of Winter Fresh gum. I could get some chips. I could get a quart of water, and I could get a bunch of candy, or I could get like a zebra cake or something like that. Now, that $1 probably can't even buy me a bag of chips because of taxes and so on. It's probably like $1.05, right? So things have changed. The US dollar is weakening, and in order for us to maintain that dominance, in order for us to be the global, currency, we need a stable coin to back us up, right? He hinted at a government-backed Bitcoin reserve, aka digital Fort Knox, because of course, Bitcoin is digital gold. He wants fast-track crypto laws to boost innovation. So it's a big deal for the space, big deal for our pockets, big deal for our portfolios, and big deal for our crypto bags. So the market reacted fast. Bitcoin jumped to 87 racks, right? Ethereum reclaimed 2,000 racks, and altcoins saw solid gains. So this is, really good. And we're seeing some squeezes upward. Some people believe that this might be a trap, but with all the liquidity and all of the tailwinds coming through that are positive, this could mean that, the bull is back on. Meanwhile, VanEck predicts Solana will hit $520, and Solana ETFs are already making waves. So once we get those Solana ETFs, I'm pretty sure we could see a $500 Solana. I think it's in the cards, my opinion. But to wrap it up, my final thoughts about all of this. So what does this mean for you? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for the crypto enthusiasts? The macro picture is shifting bullish, right? You got major institutions, major government officials that support cryptocurrency, that are pro-cryptocurrency. We got QT, quantitative tightening, slowing down, right? So the money printer might get turned on and more liquidity might be entering the space. We are getting regulatory clarity. It's improving, setting the stage for institutional adoption and for more people to invest in cryptocurrencies. We got more ETFs, which equal more liquidity and which equal higher prices. Then we got XRP's legal win. This could be the catalyst for a massive institutional investment, right? So the bottom line is the crypto bull market is not over. And if anything, it's really just getting started. So stay patient, build your conviction, do your research, and remember these dips are buying opportunities. So if you found this episode helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications for more. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's your boy Dre Lasso with another Crypto Rants, and we out.